Hi everyone, welcome to EDU110, Introduction to Early Childhood Education. My name is Dr. Andrea Burnell, but feel free to call me Dr. B. We're going to be together for the next 7 weeks. For those of you who have taken courses before, please know that we now have 7-week sessions instead of 6, so I don't want week 7 to sneak up on you. For this class, I also want to make sure that you're very clear about the required field work. So if you go to the first course overview page, you will be able to review the required field work, and you'll be able to take a look at the assignment that is due in week 6. So please keep that in mind, that you have to complete this field work. So make sure that you go about arranging where you can do this observation. I would do that immediately. If you need a phone call from me or a letter from me or an email from me to whatever the site is, to let them know that the course is real and you really are required to do this, I am happy to do that for you. Also, no, it does say required learning materials. The Fundamentals of Early Childhood Education, eighth edition, it's actually optional. It's a good book. If you can get a hold of it and it's not unreasonably priced, you may want to have a copy of it. And I do provide you each week with, if you are using the text, what the chapters that relate to what we're learning are. So again, that 1 hour observation that needs to be in a preschool or classroom setting, due in week 6, that's super, super important. So make sure you get that set up as soon as possible. So let's dig right into what we're going to be doing in week 1. Also know that each week I will post a video like this going over what the expectations are for the week, and sometimes recapping something that happened from the week before that I need to clarify, or I just want to make sure you have additional information. Okay? So we're going to start with what is early childhood, and your learning materials are going to be a couple of things to read about what early childhood is and some general issues impacting early childhood education. And then you have a couple of, or one video, I think, to watch at this point. So I hope you enjoy them. And then you also have some websites for yourself to explore. NAEYC, the National Association for the Education of Young Children, and the Harvard Center for the Developing Child are both excellent, excellent resources. Even as you move through with your studies, you'll find lots of information there. And then we also have the Learning Standards and Curriculum Guidelines for Early Childhood and the Massachusetts Early Learning Guidelines for Infants and Toddlers. And these are both through DESE. So those are good for you to be familiar with as you start on your careers or as you're moving through your career. So we're going to start with a discussion. I want you to introduce yourself and let us know why you're taking this class and your major, and the expectations of what you will get out of this class and what you want to get out of this class. So you will see that prompt. And then please note, your initial post is always going to due before Wednesday at midnight. If you do not get that initial post in on time, university policy is you will only be able to be graded on the bottom 2 portions of the discussion rubric. So it's really would benefit you to make sure that you always have your initial response to the prompt by Wednesday before midnight. The other thing to know is, as you're creating these prompts, make sure you use references and in-text citations in APA format, especially in your initial response to the prompt, because it lets us know how you're making connections to the learning materials. So that is just an important heads up. And then your first assignment is you're going to take one of the websites that I suggest, and I mentioned them before, the NAYC website, the Harvard Center for the Developing Child, and then I also have listed, it's ECLIC, the Early Childhood Learning and Knowledge Center, and that's through the federal government Health and Human Services Head Start, Office of Head Start. So you are going to pick a critical or contemporary issue in the field of early childhood. And in our announcements this week, you're going to find a link for a Padlet. On that Padlet, you are going to post a link to whatever the article was or video was that you found. Give us a small summary of that. And then you're going to take a look at the articles that your classmates have posted and then comment on at least 2 of your classmates' posted resource. Make sure your name is on every posting that you do so you can receive credit. And then the other thing I will ask you do to make sure that you get credit for all the work you've done, because it can be sort of tricky to grade when things are posted like this, is take screenshots of all of your work and upload them in Canvas under the week 1 assignment. That way, as I'm going through the Padlet looking, I can also refer to your screenshots and make sure that you get credit for all of your work. So if you have any questions about Padlet, there is a link about how I add a post to a Padlet in with the assignment. I know online through Google and through Padlet, there are tons of videos. And if all else fails, drop me a line and I will do my best to talk you through how to use the Padlet. And know that we're going to be using Padlet also in week 2 and week 3. So this will be a good way to get used to using that as a resource. If you have any questions, I am always available. I will typically get back to you within an hour or 2. If I haven't gotten back to you and you've sent me a message or an email within 24 hours, send me another one. I've had a couple instances where Canvas sort of ate a message. It never came through. And I want to make sure that if you have any issues at all, that I can support you. If you have a general kind of question, post it in the Ask Your Instructor message board, because general kinds of questions, a lot of times you won't be the only one who has that question, and it'll be helpful to post the question and the answer for everybody to see. So that's a place where all of you, and me included, may want to try and visit that Ask Your Instructor discussion board just to see if there's anything new on there. Otherwise, have a wonderful 7 weeks. I look forward to learning with all of you, and know that I am here to support you however I can. One other thing before I forget. Please make sure to get your assignments in on time, which is Saturday before midnight. I will accept late assignments in weeks 1 through 6, but only 1 week late. And every day that the assignment is late, there is a deduction of 10% to that assignment. So that can really take a chunk out of your grade for an assignment. So best practice would be to get all of your work in before midnight on Saturday. If you run into a problem where I've had students give birth, I've had students have to have, emergency surgery, let me know as soon as possible, preferably before you miss the assignment. Be proactive, and we can work out a plan of when your assignment can be due. And I really do want to support you if you do have those kind of emergencies. And remember that permission to have an assignment in late is really due to genuine emergencies, not I just couldn't get to my work this week. So hopefully that won't be an issue for any of you. And again, I am here if I can do anything to support you. Take care, and I'm looking forward to the next 7 weeks learning with you. Bye-bye.